Hello and welcome to another video on, this time, Laravel. Laravel is a free open source PHP web application framework. It was created by somebody called Taylor Otwell. It was first released in 2011 and since then it's grown in popularity due to its simplicity, ease of use and its modern features. So Laravel provides a robust set of tools and features for building web applications such as routing, middleware, templating, authentication, and database access. It also supports MVC, which stands for Model View Controller architecture, and making it easy to organize code to build scalable applications. Some of the features that make Laravel popular among developers include its elegant syntax, its easy integration with other PHP libraries, the built-in support for testing, and a large and active community that provides support and contributes to its development. Laravel has been used to build a wide range of web applications, including content management systems, e-commerce platforms, and social networking, and more. So in this video, I'm going to talk you through getting set up with Laravel, and then we're going to start creating a blog. So we're going to create a very basic Laravel project to get you used to using the Laravel framework. So the first thing we need to install is something called XAMPP. So we're going to head over to the website, which is this one, and it's the apachefriends.org download.html. And before we do any of that, we need to double check we've got PHP installed. So do cmd, open up the command line. 1 second, I've got two screens, there we go. And I'm going to type in php space -- version and check what version of PHP I'm using. So I'm using PHP 8.2.0, which is fine. It does run on the 7.1, I think it is, or 7.2, but it can cause problems. So I do recommend having the higher version of PHP installed. Now you can install PHP through XAMPP, which we'll be doing in 1 second. So I'm going to close it off. So choose the one for you. I've already got it installed and I've gone for this one. So I'm going to click on the download. Now, obviously I'm using Windows, so that's the one I'm going to need to go to. I'll just flip back and it's going to start my download in a second. Just taking its time. There we go. And now what's going to happen is once it's finished downloading, I am going to install it. So I'm not going to do the whole installation because I've already got this installed. So what I am going to do is I am just going to make sure that you understand how to install it and then I'll leave it at that point. So I've just clicked on it. It's just opening. I've just got a thing that says it's going to do something to my system. I've just clicked yes on that. And then once it opens, just give it a second. There we go. It's telling me that I have antivirus running and I'm going to click yes on that. I'm okay with that fact. It's also telling me that I've activated a user account and again, I'm fine with that fact. I'm just going to move that across. And it's now going to start installing for me. So click next. I'm happy with all of that. Click next. I'm happy with all of that. Now it's going to cause a problem for me because I've got it all installed. Once you click next, it will start installing. Let it install and let it run. That is absolutely fine. Done. So I'm going to exit that because I really don't want to reinstall that again. The next thing I'm going to do is I am then going to install something called Composer. So Composer is a dependency manager for PHP and Laravel needs Composer in order for it to work. So in order to get this, I'm going to go to getcomposer.org. Okay, I'm not going to go to that. Get Composer. It'd help if I spelt it correctly. Composer.org. Just like that. Press enter. Okay, now I'm going to go to download and I want to hit this button here. So once I click there, it's going to ask me to set up. Now, there's an important step on this section, and this is pointing to where your PHP is held. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on. There's only me that uses this computer, so I'm going to put all users. And then it's asked me if I want to allow it to begin the setup, and I've clicked yes. And then I'm going to keep this. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm not going to mess around with any of the defaults. I'm going to click next. This is the important part. Just let XAMPP point to it. So use this C XAMPP PHP and let XAMPP be the one that points to it. Then just click next and it will install it for you. And I'm not going to go any further because I've already got it installed and I don't want to mess around with that. So the next thing you'll need is something called Git Bash. Now, you might already have Git Bash installed. Git Bash download. Download Git Bash for Windows. Looks a lot. Oh, that's Git. Yeah, we want Git Bash. Git for Windows. That one. That's the one. Click on the downloads, and that will let you have almost like a CMD, but in a Git format. So download that. Let that work. If you miss any of these steps, it's going to make it really difficult to get the actual thing working. So make sure you are downloading it. So we'll click download. I've already got it installed, but we'll see what happens. Click on that one. Again, it's going to do that thing where it's asking me if I really want to do it. The answer to that is yes. And then it is going to ask me, can't grab hold of it, there we go, to install. I'm accepting all of those. I'm happy with everything in my life. Click install. Now, I've already got it, so I'm not going to click install, but follow it through, keep everything default. Okay. Now you have everything you need in order to actually get Laravel working. So we're gonna, in this section, we are going to minimize that to start with, and we're gonna actually create a blog tutorial. So I'm gonna make, we're gonna make it as easy as possible in Laravel. So first things first, we need to get a folder. So I'm gonna right click, new folder, and I'm just gonna call it Laravel projects, like that. So I've created it. Now this is the part where we needed Git Bash. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to click on Git Bash here. So not Git GUI here, I'm going to click Git Bash here. And that will open up something that looks a little bit like the CMD, but it's a little bit more colourful. So what I need to do now is I need to ask Composer to create me a Laravel project. So I'm going to write Composer create project. Sorry, I had to question my life then. Project, like that, space, dash dash, prefer, dash dist, space, Laravel, / Laravel, and then we're gonna create a travel blog. So we'll call it travel blog. Press enter. It will do a lot of wonderful things, and it will start making lots of colours. And this is basically creating all of the components that we need for Laravel. So it's currently 0% done, but it will speed up very quickly, and we will be done pretty soon. Takes a minute. While that's loading, if you don't have VS Code already installed, that is something you need to get installed. So VS Code is a free download. You can download it for Mac, Windows, and Linux. So download that one, follow the entire installer, and you should be ready at that point. We're going to be using VS Code throughout. So make sure you've got that installed. Now this is created, we are going to open up XAMPP. So I've got my XAMPP controller just loading. And my Apache and MySQL are still running, start running, so I'll just stop those very quickly. So they should look like this effectively. We'll click on start and we'll click on start because we need those two things. And we're going to also need the MySQL, so the PHP myadmin. So I'm going to find MySQL and I'm going to click on admin. And that will open up something that looks a little bit like this. So in this section, this is PHP myadmin. We're going to create a travel blog. So I'm going to go to databases and I'm going to click on here and I'm going to call it travel blog, just like that. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to leave it, click create, and you'll notice it appears here. Ignore this one. This was an earlier test. So next thing we need to do is we need to actually open up VS Code. So VS Code, which is that one we just downloaded. Now my theme might look slightly different to what your theme looks like. I don't even remember what theme I'm using anymore. Theme, that'd help. Color theme. I'm using Dracula Soft if you're interested. So let's open up that file that we created. So if I go open folder and I go to my desktop and I want my Laravel project, which let me just check which one it is. It's that one. So I'm going to click select folder. And now that should open up my travel blog and it should have everything that Laravel has created. So when we make this Laravel blog, we need to also change the environment. So Laravel sets it up not knowing what our database is actually called. So it just puts a placeholder in there for us. So I've got to the .env, and in here I'm going to name it the name of my database. So I called it travel blog, and I'm just going to save it. So we're going to create a CRUD application, and we're going to allow some authentication. So luckily, Laravel has packages available to easily integrate and manage this authentication. We're going to use something called Breeze, which provides simple authentication with a robust security features. So in the terminal, so we'll go to terminal, new terminal, and we are just going to take another step forward, because if we have a look, if I just minimize this very quickly, if we have a look inside our Laravel project, we have another folder in there called travel blog. So here, so we need to be inside that folder so we can access all this information. So in VS Code, we're just going to do cd travel blog, and that will put me inside the travel blog. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to basically download Breeze. So in this terminal, I'm going to put Composer require. Oh, it's not typing at all, is it? It's not fun. There we go. Okay. Pause it. Okay. Right. So, 1 second. It's frozen on me. Come on, you can work your life. There we go. So I'm going to type in Composer in the right place. Composer require Laravel / Breeze space -- and I'm going to press enter. And then what that's going to do is that's going to basically download all of the stuff that I need to install Breeze. And then in the next bit, we're actually going to install Breeze. So it's just taking a second. Generating all the files. Okay, so now we need to do PHP. Actually, no. Yeah, we do. We do PHP artisan breeze :install. Now, if anywhere was going to cause you problems, it was going to be this one. We're going to go for the blade, so we're going to go 0. Would you like to install? I'm really not bothered. Really not bothered. So it's going to install all of that for me now. It's going to take a second. Just loading. This can take a while. There we go. We're getting somewhere. There we go. So the next thing is we need to do npm install. And this will take seconds. So run, okay, so now we need to do npm run dev, just like that. So it found 0 vulnerabilities, which is fine. It's doing its thing. Quite happy just to let that run a second. It'll just take a minute. Let it do its thing. And then eventually, hopefully, it will leave it in. I did think about pausing while this happened so the video wasn't really long, but then sometimes when I'm following tutorials, I kind of wonder why mine's taking so long when people's are really quick. So I thought I'd just let it run and do it as live as possible so that you can actually see where things go wrong and where things take ages to actually install things. So we'll just give that a second. I just wonder if it's fallen asleep. Oh, seems to be doing its stuff. While that's doing it, we will check our local host. So that's correct. Give it a second. Seems to be taking its time. Right, this is the end of part one anyway. I was just going to install and get npm set up. In the next section of the video, so in the next part, we're going to actually start creating the database. So we've got our environment set up. So in the next part, we are actually going to start developing the database. So rather than make you hang on for however long this is going to be, I am going to stop the video here, and then in the next part, we will start it exactly where we finished. Okay, so all we've done in this part is install Laravel, install Composer, install XAMPP, and then we have gone ahead and sorted out the database. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video here, and then hopefully we will meet up when we end up getting to the last bit.